Boy, you know what time it is.
Welcome to the Bromigos Podcast.
Fuck it right in the pussy.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Bromigos Podcast. It is your boy Panama Red.
You know it's your boy Day Money. What's good with it?
Technical difficulties be damned. It's your boy, the undercover brother, Motorboat and Matt. Let's pour one out for our homie Hoochie Man, who couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah. Doing family things. And today we have a very, very special guest, the Mr. Delvin Cox. Right over
Delvin,
man.
Delvin Cox is in the motherfucking building. What's up, brothers?
Yes, how you doing, my man?
Doing good.
Yeah, how you been, Delvin? It's been a couple days or even a week or so since I had a conversation with you. What's going on, man? You're going through Hurricane Ian down there and everything, and apparently you didn't hit you all that bad. Going back to what we were saying before,
Yeah,
the
man.
actual recording.
It was interesting. Tuesday was a little rough. I had to record a podcast with a lady friend of mine, and it came out. On the episode, you can hear me talk about like I'm recording during the hurricane. That's when all the damage actually happened. And she's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She was kind of bad, so I hope she doesn't hear this.
When you say kind of bad, you mean like sexy kind of bad?
Yeah.
Describe it now,
There's only one kind of bad that we know here on this podcast. So
yes, we want to hear all about her. What is she, Cuban?
I mean,
I'm
just saying, bro. Like on some real shit. Don't y'all think Florida kind of deserve this shit? I mean,
Florida. No, Florida don't deserve it.
No, Florida.
I don't know, man.
Maybe DeSantis does, but all of Florida? No, we're not going to say that.
Northern Florida is cool, but South Florida, y'all been on some bullshit, man. I see what y'all doing. Florida, man, has not been treating y'all well, bro. That's all I'm saying.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Did you see the video of the CEO just walking in the street?
Yes, I saw that today.
That was the wildest shit.
I was like, what the fuck is going on in Florida?
Yo, I saw a video of a couple dudes literally went in the ocean during the hurricane this morning. I'm like, see, this the type of shit I'm talking about.
I've seen a motherfucking shark on the highway. Someone was in the middle of the highway, and there was a fucking shark right next to his car or truck, whatever it was.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Bro,
that's some Florida shit.
That is the most Florida shit you'll ever hear. But anyway, before we get too much off topic, I have a surprise for you, Delvin.
Okay.
So every time that I've been on your podcast, whether it's been on Patreon or your regular podcast, the Delvin Cox Experience, you typically ask us 5 questions. You call it the 5 for 5.
That is correct.
Today, we are going to surprise you with our very own Bromigos 5 for 5.
I like it.
So which one of you guys would like to start first?
No, you got it.
You want me to start? Okay. Well, then I'll start off with the heavy hitting question because we're going to get really deep on this podcast, I think.
Okay. Cool.
Deep.
Question number one. Question number one.
Okay.
What do you think is the biggest problem the Black community faces, and how do you think they can fix it?
Damn, that's a good question.
Kind of weird the white dude asked that question, but I'm gonna let it pass.
I think honestly speaking, I think the biggest problem is unity. And I know that sounds a little silly, but when you think about it, but it's really like we got to have each other's back. And one of the problems is we just simply don't have each other's back. Even when you get to that, a lot of our celebrities and the people that we kind of look up to, when they get to that high point of stardom, they kind of, not, I want to say they forget where they came from, but they're like on a different wavelength. They don't kind of look back and say, let me help other people to help build up my community and stuff like that. There's too many situations where we have, perfect example, where I live at. I live in Liberty City, which was for all my life a predominantly Black area. Black businesses, with the exception of the corner store, the corner stores are always owned by, depending on where you live at, either Arab Americans or Koreans or such and such like that. But this is a predominantly Black area. Been around for a long time. It's always been like that. What's happening in Miami now a lot of the predominantly black areas are being bought up for cheap. And black people who lived here for 20, 30 years are being moved out.
You and I were talking about this, I think, a couple months ago, right?
Yeah. So it's basically gentrification. And it's the thing is, these people who've been living in these houses for 30, 40 years, renting these houses for 30, 40 years, now have no place to go. And that sucks. And I wouldn't have a problem with it if it was other black people buying it and making paths for us to own these properties. Because just imagine like this. Imagine your grandmother lived in a property for 50, 60 years, been paying rent all this time because she never had the funds and was able to get like go to banks and get loans to buy the property. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden her rent goes, because that's another problem that's happening down here. To get the black people to either sell or move, they raise the rent to absorbent amounts. So imagine it, like I said, get back to the old lady problem. The old lady lived his property for, let's say, 30 years. Her rent was maybe $600-700 a month. Now, and because it's where she's at, they never really fixed anything in there. They fix what they can, but she doesn't bother people because she doesn't want her rent to go up. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of low cost, low risk. Now, because the white people have bought it, her rent goes from $500-600 a month to $2,000 a month. She's on a fixed income. She can't afford that. And then it's also, when it comes to that, the way evictions work here is when they send you a 30-day notice, you got to leave. That's it. It's no. You can fight it, but pretty much, if you don't have a 12-month agreement, they can just throw you out essentially. So you have a lot of people who don't have places anymore because their rent went from, like I said, $500 to $2,000. And that, I know people think, oh, that's not possible. No, it's very much possible because I work in property management. That's the things that a lot of these people are doing. And what else is happening is, because I know you probably think to yourselves, well, why are the black owners selling? Because they've raised the property taxes here so much, they literally can't afford to own the property anymore. Yeah. And that's that's unfortunate, but it's a product of us not building up our own communities and building up that equity so we don't have that problem.
Seems to be a common theme in America. It's either, affordable housing is pretty much non-existent nowadays, or, gentrification seems to be the theme. Like, let's just buy them all out. Let's raise, as you mentioned, to astronomical prices. That way they're basically priced out.
Yeah.
No one can buy into the market. Matt, real quick, when you pose this question, I mean, I love the direction you went. I just completely thought of something else. I was like, damn. And it made me think a little bit, right?
Yeah, what's up?
And I just real quick response to it, and then we can continue. I think a lot of that, one of the problems that plague the black community is the lack of fathers in it. There are way too many single mothers raising children alone. And I'm of the mindset that children require a mother and a father in order to be raised properly. And it seems like the effects of, the war on drugs and the things that happened prior to my generation, we're now seeing the effects of it. You have all these people that are currently parents who didn't have those male role models, and mom wasn't around so much because she had to work to make ends meet. That seems to be something that has been I didn't grow up with my father. My father wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I turned out good, but that's because my stepfather stepped up. You know what I'm saying? So I had a male role model in my life to help guide me in the right direction. But that's just one of the things, and a lot of people like to bring it up as an arguing point, oh, we need more fathers. Everybody needs a fucking father in their life, regardless of who it is. But there's a lot more to it than what people feel to address. But that's just my 2 cents.
I want to add a small counter to that.
Okay.
I think because of that, and you're correct, everything you said is 100% accurate. But because of that, with my generation, I guess your generation as well, mm-hmm. You have a lot more men who are more acceptable being fathers. Mm-hmm. Because we didn't have fathers, we make sure our kids have fathers.
Yeah.
Whether we with the woman or not. For the most part.
Yeah, because I know a couple people that are real pieces of shit when it comes to especially like I'm dudes in the military. Like I met especially when I was overseas, a astronomical amount of people that just go over there, have babies, dip, and then don't handle their responsibilities. Like that's wild to me.
Yeah, that is.
I got a kid over in Germany. I'm going in December to see my kid. Like, you got to handle responsibility.
I was about to ask about that, man. So, like, you're kind of in a situation where you're not absent, of course, not in any way, but you don't always see your kids. So, how do you think, like, in the future, your relationship with your kid is going to be? Since you're not in the same country as him, you only get to see him periodically.
My situation is unique because of the relationship that I have with his mother. It's very, let's just say it's deteriorated over the years and she's gotten in the way. If I could have it my way, I probably would have just stayed in Germany and been with I didn't like his mom. It was what it was between us. But I stayed in Germany, lived in Germany, learned the language so that I could be there for my kid, right? So I took the steps to do the right thing because, as you mentioned, Delvin, like I wanted to make sure that my kid knew who his dad was, what his dad is about, and to know that I got his back no matter what. And I still try to let that be known to him now because there's way too many, especially little black kids, right? Little minority kids out there that don't have their parents, have no idea where they're from, what they're about, and the other side of the family.
Yeah, man. A lot of kids' dads went out to get the milk and then come back. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I just want to say this before we move on to the question too, because Dante said this when I asked the question, how it's funny that the white man of all people asked the question. And it's not because, for one, Delvin and I have had these conversations off podcasts a few times, and they've been very insightful discussions. Mm-hmm. We've had these discussions since we started the podcast. I don't see it, to me, not that I'm taking offense of it or any way, but it's just like, it shouldn't matter who's asking the question, because the fact of the matter is there's problems that hopefully someone, regardless of color or race, can solve.
Yeah.
That's fact.
If no one's having these discussions, why not us, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm with the uncomfortable discussions.
I respect it because a lot of white people wouldn't even have the balls to ask some questions like that.
Especially the first fucking question of the fucking podcast.
Yeah, it's true. There are a lot of people out there. I mean, I know as Black people, we kind of have like a weird relationship with white people, especially the ones who are enthralled with the movement and want to be on our side, want to help us out, move forward, towards a more prosperous future. And I respect the hell out of that. But, it's questions like that make it easier for Black people to have conversations with white people, because to be honest with you, the whole social media shit, that don't mean shit to me. You could post a black screen for Black Tuesday, or you could repost something from someone else's page. That's all cool and all.
Yeah.
But, are you really that interested that you could be put in an uncomfortable situation? Because 9 times out of 10, you ask anybody a question, any Black person a question about the Black experience, at some point we're gonna say something about white people and what they did to us. And that's just fact, because even though it's not the civil rights movement anymore, even though we're not slaves anymore, we're still in this predicament where white people have more power, more opportunity, more authority over us, and we're still trying to make that shit equal or equitable at that matter, But I respect that shit, man. I do.
I will tell an interesting story about that. So I have an interesting relationship with white people because a lot of white people love the hell out of me. But I know you guys remember this a couple of years back where all the protests was going on across the nation, and people were kind of worried about everything that was going on in our country. So a lot of racial tensions was going up and stuff like this. And I'm going to give props to Jody B from the Po Boys podcast. This is what me and him became.
Jody B is, I can't say enough good things about that man. Yes. Sorry to cut you off. Continue.
Yeah, but this is when me and him became really close, because during that time, he would constantly message me, call me to make sure I was good. And then he would, and this is one of the things that made me be like, ride or die for him. He called me and was like, hey, if some shit ever goes down and you need some place to stay, you're always welcome at my house. Straight up. He's like, you're always welcome here. You're always welcome at my house. No problem. You can stay here as long as you want to. You're my boy. And then on top of that, anytime, because, tension was high and stuff like that, anytime somebody would say some wild shit on Twitter to me, some white person say some wild racist shit on Twitter to me, the first person who would say something like, hey, you are a fucking goof, Jody B.
And you know what the funny thing about all that is? If you look at Jody, he's the last person. He's a man from the deep South, Arkansas, man.
Yes.
He is a man from the deep South, a white man, and the fact that he will go to bat for you like that makes me respect him infinitely more than I already do. Because I've told Jody that he has been more or less a influence for me in my podcasting journey when I started Whiskey way back when, almost 2 years ago now, and I met all of you guys through the group chats and stuff. And he's helped me, and obviously he's helped you, and you guys developed a friendship through that whole shithole of a year that was 2020.
Yes.
So I, again, can't say enough good things about that, man. Looking forward to hopefully hopping on his show again, or when he eventually uploads the quote unquote Bromigos show that me and Hunter did a few months ago with them. But
that's always been my thing. You need white allies because the United States is predominantly white, but you need ones who are going to actually do shit. Like putting up like tweets and shit. That don't mean a shit. Just doing it for the likes and doing it for the social media attention. That's nothing. But actually putting yourself on the line and getting on the front lines with us and standing side by side, like, yo, if he's going down, I'm going down with him. That's the type of people you need on your side.
I think we all had different experiences, especially being black during the whole Black Lives Matter shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the one thing I'll say about my experience is that it was so weird. It was so different from everybody else because, you had everything going on down south. You had the protests going on, but I think a lot of white people, especially from where I'm from. I mean, I'm from the suburbs. I'm cul-de-sac black. It's just how it is. I'm not from, the hood. I ain't from the ghetto. So my experiences were different. But what I came to realize that when I would post things or I would say things, I was posting a lot of videos, so like me expressing my own feelings during the whole situation on social media. And one of the common things that I got from a lot of people that I live around, that I grew up with, common theme was basically them telling me that I don't deal with the same thing that the whole Black Lives Matter movement is talking about because I'm from Hillsborough. Just I'm from the suburbs means I'm not experiencing the same things that black people in other environments and other.
That's a load of shit right there.
That's the wildest shit I've ever heard. Let me tell you something. Living in the suburbs while being black, you feel like you're the only one.
Yep.
You feel like you're the only one. I graduated in a class of 400 plus, almost 500, and how many black people we have in our grade, man? Maybe like 20 something. I had 20 something black kids in our grade combined. Yeah. Really 5%, 10%. Our school was 2% black. So yes, I dealt with the same shit that a lot of other people do. People might not have necessarily been saying nigga straight to my face, but they were saying it, in their actions.
Yeah.
Trust me. And a lot of people just don't understand that. There's such thing as silent racism. People don't have to be out straight racist. Like you don't have to, you don't have to hang me from a tree for me to know you're racist. You know you don't like me because of the way I look, And I think a lot of people just don't get that. We still deal with the same shit with police. Living in the suburbs, every single time I drive in my own town, I've been living there for 21 years, going on 22. Every single time I drive in my town late at night and I see a cop car, my heart stops a beat. I work at Wawa. I see the cops walking all the time. The very first thing I do every time that cop walks in, I watch where his hands are. Immediately. I mean, when you walk in the store, I'm the first one standing there at the cash register. So I'm looking at his waist. He got his hand in his Glock. And it's for other people are like, oh, why you gotta be like that? Not all police aren't bad. I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying that. But through the history, it's a different experience for us. It's a different mindset, and everyone's experience is different. But don't just think because we're come up in different environments that our experiences are that vastly different, because they really aren't. They really aren't. What's the next question, Matt?
I was just saying, question 2. Does anybody want to go for question 2 here?
I got it.
Yeah, let's lighten the mood up a little bit here. That was deep. That was deep, man.
So before I pose my question, a little backstory to it, right? So I've been working at Sirius now for 3 weeks, and I'm fucking having a blast doing it. One of the gentlemen that I work with goes by he's a comedian by the name of Jim Norton. And we've connected over this weird topic where I'm about to ask you this question. And the question is,
I like that name drop. Yeah, one of the comedians.
I just casually know Jim Norton. I work with
Jim Norton.
if I say your name drop, y'all really gonna be amazed, right? If I really
weird flex, but okay.
Flex,
Yeah.
you ain't got the
Jim
answers.
Norton's
Frank.
nobody.
You ain't got the answers. Nah. But how do you feel about eating ass?
That's a good question.
You know, it's funny. We talked about this a few months ago on Whiskey too.
Casey. I'll be fucking around my boy all the time out there. Be like, yo, Casey, you eat ass yet? He's like, nah, I'm not doing that.
What are you clowning him for? You haven't done it either. The most you've gotten is get your gooch licked. That's all. You ain't done it either. What are you talking about?
Yo, no, hold up. What are you talking about?
What we're not gonna do. That's not what we're gonna do, folks.
We ain't gonna go back and forth on that.
From what I know.
Yeah, you don't know everything.
That's true. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
all right, let's hear this shit, man.
Look, this is how I look at it. That's not something you pull out on the first date, the second date, the third date, the fourth date. This is something that you have to pull out, like, because people be acting reckless with their shit. They be like Trick Daddy be like, that made it a thing where people just think, like, you just eat booty anywhere. No. Hold up.
I mean,
this is something that you pull out for somebody that you want that's a keeper.
See, I'm going to respectfully disagree, sir, because you see, in my experience, you do that shit with motherfuckers that, like, you do the respectful, nice shit to your wife, the typical oral sex shit, like your girlfriend, your wife, and then you do just the debauchery with some other chick. Just
with the hoes?
Yes, that's the opposite.
No, she would be mine. That's the thing. See, my hoes are mine. I'm not sharing my hoes.
How do you know that?
Because believe me when I tell you, when I was doing that, she is mine, and only mine. Okay, we have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It was. I mean, the understanding used to be one way, but we had an understanding. Like, hey, there's a conversation to be had.
Wait, no. We can pass. No. It was one way. What you mean it was one way?
Yeah.
What you mean it was
Y'all know what I'm saying. Like, I don't gotta say it. Y'all know what I'm saying. Younger Panama was a hoe. Yes,
we've established this already.
People know this. Like, I got stories. I got a lifetime worth of stories. The people know this, right? But
people on Twitter are trying to get. But we put an episode out last week where you said you were going to retire from having sex stories, and all of a sudden people are like, "Hell no, you ain't retiring. You ain't retiring. Are you fucking
no more
nuts?
Sex stories? That's it.
No, that's a lie, man. That's cap. That's cap. You know that.
Well, since Matt wants to say I've never eaten ass, that's false.
Well, say it with your chest. You're fumbling over there. Say it. Say it.
Listen, I have no reserve to say I've eaten the butt, man.
Like groceries.
Janae Aiko said, "Eat the booty like groceries." It came out in 2015. I was in 8th grade. I was like, "What?"
Have you been a recipient, Delvin, to the the ass licking?
I will say this: a chick tried it one time. Not a fan. Not a fan at all.
Okay.
She got a little like, no. This is not it. This is not it, homie. This is not my vibe at all.
I mean, it's cool because I think one should just explore all the, especially when it comes to sexuality. Like, it's such a big thing and important thing. But you don't have to be into everything.
So many dudes think getting their ass eaten is gay, and I'm like, how? Like, if it's by another guy, okay, well, obviously that's gay. You have another man eating your butt. But if it's a female that you're into, you already have a sexual relationship with. What's the big goddamn deal? Yeah. If you calm your male egos down for like 5 minutes, that's how long you're lasting anyways. Let's just keep pushing, man.
My thing was this. when the woman tried it with me, it felt like I was using a bidet. Like, yo, what? Like, all right, fam. This is a bit much.
I have to think about that a second.
This is not
They squirts water at your anus, so
like,
wait. So like now I'm just curious. What was the positioning like? Because but they be, and
69. Like the podcast, 69 whiskey.
nah.
I just see no.
First of all, 69, I'm never on top. That's
like
great.
I'm trying to focus on this pleasure. You can't really dive into it because you gotta reciprocate what's being given to you. And I want to enjoy the entire experience. I've never been a fan of 69. Like, no, like you lay back, let me do my thing to you. I'm gonna lay back and get
not to get too graphic, but she started off in one area and tried to end in another area. It was like, whoa.
I would have put my leg up and everything for her. That's
Like,
just
nah.
like, you're
Like-
go ahead. Don't worry about it. Oh, yes, we like that. I'll take a number 6, please.
You're such a goon, Mike. Jesus.
Oh my!
She was trying to treat my ass like a car wash. Like, it's like,
I want the
this is a bit much.
the elite wash.
Oh man. All right. Let's move on to question number 3. Dante, what do you got?
I'm not gonna lie. I've barely been paying attention to group chat. So was I supposed to come with my own question or?
You're terrible. You're fired.
You are terrible.
Listen,
Unprepared ass.
That's not new.
let's not do that. I'm never unprepared.
I'm fucking with
Well,
you.
then hit him with a question to stop.
Hit him with a question.
So, like, what kind of vibe we going for here? We want to keep the sexual shit going. You want to switch to sports? You want to keep like
Whatever one you want to bring, it all matter to me.
All right, all right. Here's my thing. I don't know if you've seen ESPN's top 10 players and going into the next NBA season. You watch basketball, right, Delvin?
Yes, I do. I have not seen that because I'm terrified of what they have.
Okay, so like the list ain't bad. I ain't gonna lie, it's not bad. It's got some of the
It's
best
trash.
players in the league.
I haven't even seen it yet.
I feel like everybody has their own opinions about it, and that's why I want to bring this question up. Now, the top 5 players, they have
Okay.
Giannis at number 1, Jokic at number 2. They have who they have at number 3? Joel Embiid at number 3. No, I'm sorry, Luka Doncic at number 3, Joel at number 4, and Steph Curry at number 5. Now, the remaining 5, you got LeBron,
Okay.
Devin Booker,
Okay.
Jason Tatum,
Okay.
Ja Morant,
Okay.
and LeBron James at number 6. Now, Stephen A. Smith went on ESPN the other day and he had a serious issue with this. He said, how the hell are you going to have a top 5 list without LeBron and Kawhi Leonard? So my question to you is, based off recent play, all these players, should LeBron and Kawhi really be top 5 right now?
No, not at all. I don't think their team hasn't shown it. Like, they haven't played to the level they're supposed to. If you're going to be a top 5 player, your team, you have to lift your team up as well. Like, even when Kobe in his prime, was killing it, and the Lakers wasn't good, I wouldn't have put Kobe in that top 5 player position. As great as he was, but he wasn't bringing his team up. Now, there was other parts of Kobe where Kobe was playing so good, he forced the team to be good.
Yeah.
That's different. But when the Lakers were like at 50% and Kobe was hitting 47 points per game, like, doesn't really matter that much. When you are a great basketball player, you bring your whole team up. That list a little bit surprises me. LeBron, I don't think LeBron should be number 6. I'll say that. He should be probably. What was the Lakers' record last year? Did they make the playoffs?
No, they didn't make the playoffs last year.
We did not make the playoffs. We were ass last year. We were terrible.
I would probably put him at like number 9.
Ooh, harsh.
Wow. I didn't expect that to happen.
From a guy in year 19 averaging 30 points? Really?
I like LeBron, but the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs.
I feel like
I'm gonna tell me, hold real quick. Excuse me. You're gonna tell me, Mr. Cox, that there are 9 players in the NBA that are better than LeBron James? Based off, and now your logic to it is simply because and it's not. I just want to understand his logic. That's all.
Here we go.
No.
You got Mike riled up.
I'm
Mike,
not riled
number
up.
1 LeBron lover over here.
I will say this.
I am, but no, I just want to understand the 9 players in the NBA are better than LeBron James.
I will say this, based off of play from last year, I would say not necessarily better, but led their teams better.
You know, I'll put it this way. When it comes to LeBron James, and you know, we could talk about the GOAT conversation or whatever you want to say. I don't even want to get into it. It's really not that deep. But when I look at LeBron right now, right, and I also look at somebody like Kobe, they're both, and you know, Jordan too. They're all both and all three of them got to a point in their careers where they were just breaking records, you know, because of the longevity, you know, scoring a lot of points, doing a lot of great things. They had great games, but none of that ever sufficed to them making the playoffs or making a serious championship run. Yeah. And there are a lot of guys in the league now that are at a point in their careers where they're one of the best players in the league, but they're also leading the best teams in the league that have championship contention. Because here's my thing. I look at that top 10 and I'm like, how the hell is Jimmy Butler not a top
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that.
I'm thinking about that too now. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because I remember when ESPN came out with their top 100 list of NBA players all time, they had Kobe Bryant at 13. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's insane.
13?
I mean, but who you putting ahead of Kobe? Like, realistically. I mean, we're speaking all time. All time is a little more difficult. All time.
I don't even think all time is fair though, because different levels of play for each respective decade
and different levels of competition.
Exactly.
That does matter. I think.
You think that matters?
I think competition does matter. Yes.
Okay, so, and not that I'm necessarily trying to get into the GOAT debate. I'm not going to argue Jordan or versus LeBron type of thing.
No, stick with the comp thing though, because I think that's a good segue into something. I like that.
It's just for me when you're talking about, I personally don't think that the competition that Jordan played against is better than what Durant, LeBron, and Curry face today. That's just my opinion.
Ooh.
My opinion. I personally believe competition is a lot tougher. Now, the game was more physical in the 90s, right?
I agree with that.
But everybody, even the bench, everyone is an athlete now. Everyone can jump out of the gym the way Jordan was doing. Everyone does it nowadays, right? And
that's a good point.
The level of competition, in my opinion, because the game evolves. People get faster, stronger, quicker, right? So that's just me. I think now, as far as the talent, the on-the-court product is better than what it was when Jordan played the game.
I think it's more competitive. I don't know if I'd say better, but it's weird because I feel like if you look at the early to mid 2000s, like I guess 2000 to 2010s, and you go from like to this generation, there is some comparison there. Like you look at that, what I guess you call it the early Kobe years, the Shaq years in his prime. Then you have like the Vince Carters and it was some ballers there, like AIs.
Yeah,
that feels like the transition to this generation.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys play 2K?
Yes.
Have you guys tried the new 2K, of course?
Oh, my NBA era? Yes. Yes. Let me tell you something. I've been playing with the Lakers in the 80s. Holy shit.
That's what I was going to get to.
It's different.
That's what I was going to get to. When you start playing in those eras and you start and you put it on hard mode, you start realizing how good these teams, and you look at the rosters on these teams, like, holy shit, these were some amazing teams.
But you also had some bums.
Of course, yeah. That's
the thing.
Every team has bums.
When it comes to basketball, which I really don't think a lot of people understand, and I try to put this point across to a lot of people. What you got to get with the game of basketball is that it's a little bit different than every other sport. Football will always be physical. It will always be physical. You know, they could change the rules all they want to. It's still going to be a physical game. Still got to hit people. Still got to push people. Put your hands on people. Baseball is always going to be the same way. Very slow sport. Thinking man's game. You got to think the long run. You're playing 100+ games in a year. When it comes to basketball, the rules have changed so much every decade that in every single decade, every single era of basketball, it's so different. The reason I hate when the kids nowadays are always
It's
shitting
6
on
o'clock.
people. Oh shit, 6 o'clock. Boom. Then when you talk about people from the 70s and the 80s and 60s, everybody now they're like, oh, yo, they're plumbers and teachers and bullshit. No, it's not that. But you gotta understand, and those are the best athletes of that time. And at the time, rules were so much different. You couldn't play the same way. Think about in the 60s, the shot clock had just been instated into the league. The 70s, faster paced basketball had just gotten into the league. Why? Because there were so many black players and it was playground basketball towards the end of the 70s.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the 80s, you add the 3-point line. So you talk about people like, oh, think like people who even played in the 90s. The 3-point line got stayed into the NBA in 1980.
Yes.
Got stayed into the NCAA in 1983. So you think about all the best players that played in the 80s and the 90s. They didn't even grow up hooping with the 3-point line. So you got to understand that there's a whole line of longevity for us to get to where the game is now. That's why the talent's so much different. Because these kids have grown up in a world where everybody got dunk. Everybody go know how to shoot. Everybody got to shoot threes. You got to have multiple moves in your bag. If you play in the post, you got to play guard. You play guard, you got to know how to play post. The game's just evolved so much.
Do you think Jordan would have averaged 40? Because a lot of sports analysts today say that he would average 40. You believe that?
Yes. Here's why I say Jordan would average 40. Look at all these guys now, right? They generated a lot of points from the 3-point line. In this era, Jordan would have a 3-point shot in this era. I also thought back in the day, Jordan was going to the rim against defenses where it was so much more physical than it is now. Scoring's a lot easier now.
Yeah,
so much
players. I mean, I don't know. It's always hard to have this conversation because there weren't players like Giannis back then.
Let's put it this way. I love the fact you bring that up. I was actually just watching a video yesterday on how the rules have changed in terms of scoring over the past 50 years, right? All the moves that guys do now, this is why you can't compare eras. Euro step, you do the Euro step 20, 25 years ago, it's a walk.
Yeah.
You do a hop step 15 years ago, it's a walk. Step back didn't exist. The gather step didn't exist. In the 1980s, literally, the moment first of all, the 60s all the way through the 80s, if you touched that basketball, it was 1-2. It wasn't, oh, let me gather step, and then I can get the ball and dribble and take my 1-2. When you touch that ball, it's 1-2. And if you take 3, it's a travel. So the way the game is played now is so much different. Also, getting buckets at the basket is at a prime. Why? Because you got a game where it's not primarily played in the post anymore. You have so many guys that can play inside and outside. So you got your 5, sometimes have to guard the 5 who's out on the wing or in the corner because they're placing the floor out so much now. You look at the game back in the day, it was so tight. It was a lot of one-on-one play. You was talking about 2K. I was playing 2K a couple days ago, and I'm playing with the Lakers. We had everybody outside, dumped it into Kareem, and it was one-on-one basketball. That's how it was for such a long time. Now you got more team basketball. Guys can move the ball more triple doubles in the game. The game's just more open now. And I love it. I love it. But like a lot of the old heads say, I do think the NBA's gotten soft.
Yeah.
I do think it has.
And to that, that's probably one of the reasons why I don't think Shaq would work in this generation.
No.
Because he was dominant because people back then weren't as great as shooters as they are now. Now you got centers that can shoot threes. So
I'll say this. When people talk about Shaq, right? First of all, I don't think people give credit to how fucking athletic Shaq is.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite player of all time.
Shaq is the most dominant / athletic player ever. 7'1", 300 pounds. Dude could dribble down the court. I'm telling you, if Shaq played in this era,
young Shaq, right? We talking about young Shaq.
Young Shaq.
Because when he got to LA, he had to do that shit no more. He can still do it in the early years in LA. When he won the championships, Phil Jackson was like, "Yo, get your shit together. Fuck the movies, fuck the music. Let's win the chip." But Shaq being so athletic, so strong, if he played in today's era, a young Shaq, I definitely think would suffice. He wouldn't have to shoot because imagine it this way: yeah, Giannis is out there,
he would have to shoot
all kind of shit. No, he wouldn't have to shoot because let's be honest, Who the hell in the league right now could really handle Shaquille O'Neal in the post?
No one.
Yeah, but still, he would have to shoot, bro. No, now hold on. Young Shaq wasn't as physical as he was when he was towards the Lakers. Now, if we're talking Orlando Shaq, like he wasn't as physical as Laker Shaq.
I mean, I don't know, man. That dude was terrible.
No, he was strong. He was strong as fuck. He was quick, and he could handle the ball. Like there's that famous clip where he's doing that at the All-Star game when he's one-on-one with Mike, and he does a little shimmy, and he gets him, and Jordan's like, "Oh shit!" That Shaq would have to shoot. Would have to, bro. Would have to. Giannis, who I would say would be this generation's equivalent to that Shaquille O'Neal, has to shoot. Everyone has to shoot. It's just the way the game is currently. You have to.
I think the problem with Shaq if he was in this generation would be that people would try to bring him out to the wing all the time, and he would have to go out if there's a person who can shoot threes. And that's the whole thing. Like Shaq, if he's on the board, he's dominant. You're not stopping Shaq at all. Yeah. But if you have to keep, the only way you're going to stop Shaq in this generation is keep him on the wing, keep him moving constantly, where he cannot. Now, on offense, you can't stop him. He's a guaranteed 2 points. Yeah. Defense is where it's going to be like, okay, now this is our best bet is to tire Shaq out, keep running Shaq, make him come out to the wing so he cannot grab rebounds. And I think that's kind of where it's going to be a little different because this generation, they're shooters. That's the thing. Like somebody said, I don't remember who said it, but they were like, my generation was trying to learn how to dribble like AI. The generation before me was trying to learn how to dunk like Jordan. Yeah. This generation is trying to learn how to shoot like Steph. Yeah. And you can see that. Yeah. Everybody's out there trying to shoot that three, shoot from long range, and that's how the game's kind of playing. Everybody's athletic.
I love that you said that for real because, me being 21, I grew up in the era where I learned how to shoot mid-rangers before I shot threes. Literally, once I got to 8th grade, that was the Golden State Warriors era. That was the beginning of it. And I tell you, we used to come into the gym, used to, the BS half-court shots and everything. We were, shooting last. We were trying to get to the rim, trying to get to the free throw line. I'm telling you, once 2014, 2015 hit, every single time we got in the gym, the only thing all of us were thinking about shooting was three-pointers. And not at the line, long balls. Yes. Because that's what we saw. And at the time, people were saying, oh, that's terrible for the game. You got to stop shooting all these damn threes. Now the three-point shot in transition is one of the most efficient shots to shoot in basketball. Now the game is so damn spread out that it forces teams to actually play real defense. Because if you don't know how to play defense, you will get exposed because every team can shoot these days. Yeah. Remember 2017 when Houston was putting up damn near 50, 60 three-pointers a game? That shit would never happen 50, 60 threes a game.
Yeah. That's insane. All right.
You got Steph Curry coming out here shooting 15 by himself. The hell?
Yeah. All right, hit me with that third question there, Matt.
Actually, that was the third question. So this is the fourth question.
Who was the fourth?
So this was actually, I came up with this question before yesterday when Coolio passed away. Rest in peace. Okay. But I feel like it's just as relevant now as it was when I came up with the question a few days prior. What rapper, if you had the ability to bring one rapper back to life, but you had to sacrifice one living rapper to take that spot that of wherever, heaven or hell or whatever afterlife you choose to believe in, one living rapper has to take that spot so that you could bring this rapper back.
This is easy.
Who are you bringing back and who are you sacrificing?
I am bringing back motherfucking DMX. And peace out, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
I knew it.
You know what's funny? I was wondering who I wanted to pick to bring back. And I said to myself, man, there's DMX, there's Tupac, there's Biggie. And as much as I like to bring back all of them, that seems like the easy one to come up with.
Oh, bro, they can take all of them. Lil Pump, Lil Yachty, all the Lils nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Well, I agree with Tekashi. I agree with sacrificing Tekashi.
Lil Yachty got to go too.
Wait.
No, relax. That shit is trash.
Hold on.
Brother that grew up listening to fucking the types of Big Pun, Big L.
Gen Z. He holding it down for Lil Yachty. Shout out Lil Boat. Stop playing games, man. Don't do that.
Jail.
My generation. Fuck. Yeah, SoundCloud era is undefeated. Okay, change the game.
SoundCloud Listen, now if you're talking as far as the artist being able to empower themselves and make their own money without the need for a record label.
Yeah, but
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. However, the product that they are putting out is absolute garbage, bro.
You gotta listen to Yachty, man.
I don't want to listen. I've tried. I love music, so I give every artist a chance, regardless of genre. I give it a chance because listen. I love music. I love music. Even that motherfucker, Kodak Black, all these motherfuckers. The only people that get a Lil Baby, I fuck with Lil Baby. Da Baby, I fuck with Da Baby.
What about Corday?
Nah.
Corday's good, man. Corday is really good.
Listen. I like you, man. Listen, what you like, if you like, we might like two different things, man. It's okay.
Okay, but like Corday is the one rapper I'm like, he actually aligns to the kind of music you like. He's a lyricist.
Yeah.
Real lyricist. Like that.
I will go. Okay, you know what, Delvin? For the sake of this, I will go do some research, listen to more of his music, and then the next time we have you on or whenever we come on your show, we can revisit this conversation.
Yeah, my son put me on the Corday because I was kind of the same way. I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit. He's like, hey, Corday. I listen, like, oh, this is actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah, nah. The thing I like about Corday, because you look at him, he like, when he first came out, I was like, oh, here we go. Because, he used to be in YBN. Everybody know that. He was YBN Corday. And I didn't really mess with him back then. Because, YBN, they just did their little singles, for the hits and kept it moving.
Yeah.
When you really listen to Corday, he's one of the only rappers. I'm like, oh, damn, yo, he's really telling me something. He's like telling a story. I'm hearing some personal shit. He's not just talking about drugs and money and bitches and hoes and drinking. And it's not like that. And I respect it. It's hard to do that now and be big.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of J. Cole's out there, not a lot of Kendricks.
Nah.
It's tough.
So ain't. So the fuck ain't.
So that begs the question to you two: who you sacrificing, who you bringing back then?
Well, 6ix9ine's gone. Fuck that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I think we all can agree 6ix9ine is gone at this point.
Like it's not even like that.
That's a given.
It's not about the situation or anything. I could really care.
That motherfucker's annoying, bro.
He's a piece of shit. He's a real piece of shit.
Like I'm not even gonna
give that bitch no money. He's
terrible. Y'all know how I be, man. I don't judge people on social media because everyone be fake on the gram. Okay, I don't really go along with that. So I don't know what he's like in real life. But I'll say this more than anything. 6ix9ine music just wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Nah, not really.
I've tried listening to it. It's terrible.
I'm not gonna hold you. When 6ix9ine comes on at a party and you in a frat basement, that shit's hype. I ain't gonna lie.
Some of it, for hype music, like I remember being in Germany and being already drunk and hearing that Fifi, I think it's called.
Bitch, I'm still
like some of it I can fuck with, right? But no. To answer Matt's question, so I'm gonna just choose the rapper that I can't stand. I can't stand Kodak Black. Cannot stand him, bro. I would give the nigga, please give me back Big L. Give me L. Give me
Big L.
How we mute Mike, man? How we mute Mike?
What?
I'm not muting Mike. He's entitled to his own opinion.
No.
Black, goodbye, bro. Goodbye. I can't stand the way he sound. I don't like what he talking about. None of his shit. I need people to articulate. Maybe it's because I think I consider myself to be an intelligent human being. Therefore, I like rappers to be able to articulate themselves well when they're giving me music, right? Have you heard Big L? You sitting here shaking your head and doing all this.
I love Big L. Big L's dope.
Heard Big L? First of all, go hear the motherfucker before you come. Oh no!
Wait. Hold on. At any point did I ever shit on Big L? No, I did not.
Because what is there to shit on?
Well, I'm not shitting him, but I didn't say anything bad about Big L. See you. You got your panties on in a while.
So then who you sacrificing? Who you bringing back then, Dante?
I would definitely sacrifice 6ix9ine. It's just because whatever.
Fuck him.
Like his music. The reason why I'm sacrificing him is because if his music never came out, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like if Kanye was gone, I'd be like, what is music?
That dude that sings Moonlight.
Like, the rapper I would bring back. That's wild. because I want to say Biggie and Tupac, right? That's what you want to go with.
That's what you
But
want. I was thinking the same thing. I have a different one
music,
too than what those two.
Yeah, I don't think their music would hit the same way these days. To be honest with you, it just really wouldn't. No, not now.
Because y'all little niggas don't know nothing about no.
No, it's not me not knowing anything about the game. What you got to understand is evolution. You know, Biggie and Tupac made amazing music for their time, and it came out at a time we had never heard a sound like that before. But every music has their own era. Every music has their own era. So I'm just gonna say the person that I would bring back is Biggie, just because I love this music. But I think it's a good segue into something else we were talking about.
Before we do that, I want to give mine.
All right, go ahead, man.
I want to bring back Nate Dogg.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I
just thought about something.
I was listening to a Nate Dogg cameo the other day. I think I was listening to, what was it? Shake That, the one he did with Eminem, and I'm just like, 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. I like that pussy, and I like that weed. Spoke so much, man, you couldn't believe it. I get more ass than the toilet seat. I'm just like, damn, I want that back, man. I want that back.
You talking about music in different eras, man. And Biggie and Tupac came out at a time where, like, the Black Rebellion, in terms of we were going to pave our own way and we really didn't give a fuck what y'all thought. That was like the prime time. They was coming out with lyrics and flows we had never heard of. But every artist has their era. Like if Michael Jackson was still making music now, it's not going to hit the same way it did back in the 80s. That's just how it is, because in the 80s, that was his time. Just like there's going to come a time where Drake's era is gonna pass. Jay-Z's era passed at one point. Kanye's era even passed at one point.
There's such thing as classics that are timeless.
Yeah, no facts.
Who from now outside of Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, right, and a few other rappers, who is out there nowadays putting out classics that you're gonna be like 20, 30 years from now, you're still listening to that shit?
That's the thing. You really don't know. Sometimes you know a classic when you hear it for the first time, but then sometimes you hear songs and it's like at first you might not like it. Over the years, you're like, oh damn. I remember when this shit dropped. Like this was a hit back in the day.
Fifi and all that other shit.
You're not gonna remember that, but you know what? Like, Fetty Wap. Now you might not fucking Fetty Wap.
No, I'm in the club, baby.
But for me, like yo, when I hear his shit, I'm like, yo, nah, that was a classic. For me, it was because that's the shit I grew up on. You know, like when I'm 12, 13, 14, I'm hearing this shit for the first time. It's like, oh, yo, now when I'm older, I'm like, nah, this shit's a classic.
I wasn't alive when Sexual Healing come out, but I know that shit's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. Yes, that's a classic. But also remember, that classic came out 40 plus years ago. We're in 2022. So it takes time for that shit. But it takes time for that shit.
No, but that shit was a classic when it came out too. That shit was a bot.
That's what I said. I said sometimes when you hear a song for the first time, you're like, yo, I know this shit's a classic. But then sometimes it takes years for shit to grow. And it's like, you know what? This was a good song. I don't like
shit on rap. Let me ask this question then. What do we mean? When we say classic, are we referring to classic as a term of commercial appeal, or classic as when you go back, people talk about this album as being critically acclaimed?
That's classic.
Because
I think there's an argument for both, to be honest with you.
Because if we're just only discussing critically acclaimed albums, Tyler the Creator might be up there.
Oh, Tyler's nice. I've been getting into his music lately.
It's a couple of his albums that people are probably gonna look back and like, yeah, this was it.
That motherfucker weird. You see the with Flex?
Yeah. I feel like some things are classics just in general, right? You know, Biggie's Ready to Die.
Yes.
It's always going to be a classic album. You know, The Blueprint, you know, all like Nas coming out with his first album, like all that, those are classics. And we know that because it came out in a time where there's sounds that we haven't heard of. So we instantly recognize those albums as being classics.
Okay, but
I also feel like, in a sense, classics aren't always generalized. I feel like when it comes to classics, just like the greatest of all time, whatever respective sport, it comes down to perspective. Because there's some albums and songs that I was like, yo, that shit's a classic. We were like, yo, that shit was ass.
I think then you're basically watering down what is a classic, because you can't call everything is not a classic just because it's something that maybe it's nostalgic to you, but that doesn't automatically make it a classic. I can think of songs like for example, Something New by Coolio, right? Some people wouldn't call that. Now that's something that I used to. I remember Jock Jams. I was in 6th grade. I bought that album. My mom got it for me. That song Anytime I hear it, I lose my fucking mind. Why? Because it resonates with me. It means something to me. But that's not what a lot of hip hop heads would call a classic. Now, just because a song resonates with you, and when you hear like, oh, I was in high school.
All right, I'll give you an example. Okay, back to back. Back to back brings me hella nostalgia. It's not a classic, but damn, that shit was a hit. But you hear that whole album, Take Care, and you like, that's just a classic.
Yes.
Take Care, classic. A lot of classic jams.
We got to be careful with the vocabulary that we're using to define these songs, because not all of them, like I said, you may hear something, but like, damn, it takes you back to exactly like anytime I hear anything by Waka, it takes me back to where I was at that time when I first heard that music. But does that make it a classic?
Let me
No
ask
Hands
you
is a classic. No Hands is a classic. I don't care what. That's a classic. That's a classic. That's a classic. Stop it. Stop it, Mike. Stop it, Mike.
It might be more of a subjective classic.
Let me ask the question to you guys. I think this is an interesting one. Because I had discussed with somebody a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Big Willie Style. Is that album a classic?
Yes. Coming from a Will Smith stan, yes. And I ain't just saying that because I'm Will Smith stan. That album, if you really, because I think people get caught up in the fact, oh, it's Will Smith.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
But you can't tell me the songs in that joint aren't Miami.
All of them?
Getting jiggy with it. No.
Men in Black's on there.
Yeah, but how many times we listen to a whole album, like every single song?
Now that damn album by Kendrick Lamar, classic. All of it, up and down, left to right, back to front. All of it is good.
Every song in that album went gold.
That's what I'm saying. But so, was Big Willie Style every song back and forth something you could bop to?
This is the thing. This is why I asked this question.
Big Willie Style also won Rap Album of the Year that year at the Grammys.
And I think it was 6 times platinum. But this is why I asked that question, because usually when we talk about classic hip hop albums, they never mention the Big Willie Style albums or the MC Hammer album that push units that kind of move the culture.
Yeah,
we always mention the artists who kind of like the Tupacs, the Biggies. They don't really mention the LL Cool J's, the Big Willie Style albums, the stuff that not only moved the culture, but got pop culture into hip hop.
But you know what? I think that's because people, I think within the culture itself considers, especially the MC Hammer one, they consider that to be a sellout, and they don't want that. They don't want something that's been pushed, commercialized in a way like that. They want something that was like Biggie, and that's why they moved to the Biggies and the Tupacs, because they felt that was something that was more resonated with them than what, the big wigs at the record company were pushing with like MC Hammer or whatever.
And and this is the thing. I used to think that same way until I started watching documentaries on MC Hammer and watched how many people's lives he changed because of that album.
That's a fair point.
And how much he brought to the community. Like, he went bankrupt trying to help the hood.
Yeah.
That's like a thing.
MC Hammer was the first rapper, the first hip hop star to really intertwine music and sports. Remember, he was hanging on the sideline with Dion at the Falcons games.
Yes. So
we
I
didn't
think
seen that before.
People like MC Hammer are necessary, are needed. As much as we want to shit on people like that, like Will Smith, we need that, because that's the bridge between the gap, right?
Hold on, Mike. Will Smith, and anybody listening to this need to understand, Will Smith paved the way for a lot of rappers,
including Jay-Z.
Yeah, because we all remember how Jay-Z used to rap. I guess we all remember. He had that kind of quick flow and everything. So Will Smith. People can hate on the Will Smiths of the world all they want. Hate him all you want, but he's necessary, because you know what? White people that grew up in the suburbs ain't trying to listen to, they don't know about shit like Ether and shit like that. They're not trying to hear where I fucked you, bitch, you fat motherfucker. They don't know about that kind of shit. They're not trying to hear Ice Cube. Yeah, no, they definitely ain't trying to listen to no Ice Cube.
It's artists like somebody like Will Smith that gives these other music artists the opportunity to see that, I can do a lot more than music. Think about it. For 10 straight years, that man had 8 straight movies that made over $100 million in the box office. He's done more than music. he won the very first ever rap album of the year award for the Grammys, and boycott that shit because they decided not to put that on TV. He was the first really, really big rap artist to also have one of the greatest TV shows we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever seen. You know? So that's why look at all these athletes and look at all these rappers that are doing movies now and TV shows and not just cameos for one episode, like actually in this shit. Like it's like Mike said, we need guys like this to help push the culture and push the music and show that, especially as Black people, we can do so much more than just music.
Well, we don't
do so much more.
That's what we don't need.
Him and LL don't get enough credit for that.
People disrespect LL, and I don't understand it.
I told you, remember we did Delvin's podcast, and I thought LL was the greatest rapper of all time.
I agree.
By that.
LL is so diverse and versatile in terms of what he did to hip hop with clothing, movie, TV shows, rapping. He had bars. He can give you any kind of type of song you want. He's the most versatile rapper maybe ever.
Yeah, you know what? Applause for LL Cool J, man. Applause for fucking LL Cool J. Moving the culture.
Hey man, I'll tell you a quick story. Just a quick story. I remember the first time I was really introduced to hip hop. I had an iPod Nano, right? Now for the young kids watching this, let me tell you something. Back in the day, you had to plug the iPod into your computer and download the music, put the disc and burn it, all that shit. So I was doing all that shit. And my dad had a CD. He burned the CD into my iPod. I had all the old school shit on it. I mean, listen to Grandmaster Flash, LL, Big Pun, Run DMC. And I remember the first time I heard LL. And I'm going to a basketball game and all I hear is, my radio, believe me, I like it loud. I'm the man with the box that can rock the crowd. I'm just like, whoa. Like that old school shit, it's a feeling. It's a feeling like no other. You hear that shit, like something you've never heard before. It's like, it kind of gives you a music orgasm in a way. Like, I'm like, whoa, like, you don't hear shit like that now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is before the 808s. This is before the voiceover shit and all this new technology people are using to make music. I mean, these are hardcore beats, hardcore rhymes, straight from the dome, pen to paper. Let's spit this shit. Let's put it out. Let's put up our mixtapes. Like, all this shit paved the way for what we got now, man. And too many people now, they don't respect it. They don't respect it.
Here's another hot take about that. LL Cool J, in many ways, paved the way for Drake. 100%. Drake took his whole style, everything. The whole
who is dropping rap songs about love and relationships for LL? Everybody knows I need love. When I'm alone in a room, man, I stare at the wall. Like, yo, who's in the 80s?
And then you go look at it, even go a little further into it. LL would drop a rap song about a lady and then flip it and drop the hardest rap verse you done heard.
Yep.
And then he'll do a rock song. And he'll do some other different shit. Just like Drake, the same blueprint Drake has now. You go back and look at LL, listen to some of LL old albums, the same thing there. Only difference is LL wasn't singing. That's the only difference. Same concept.
Nah, you make a good point because you really think about LL's career. I mean, LL was like, he was a sex symbol. Drake's pretty much a sex symbol too. Yeah. All the
TV star.
Lady Love Cool James. You know, he was doing movies, doing TV. In the House was one of the biggest sitcoms of the late 90s.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like LL wasn't doing his thing outside of music, but like I said on your podcast a couple months ago, LL is one of the only rappers of all time to have multiple #1 hits in 3 different decades. In the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's crazy, man. So let's do one last question to wrap this shit up, man. And what y'all want to ask, man? Anything interesting? Let's do some sports. Do a little sports just to end this shit real quick. Okay. You know, NBA season's coming up. You know,
no. We're gonna talk some fucking football, goddammit. Fuck the NBA right now. Let's talk some motherfucking football.
Wait, I got one for that. All right, here we go. Early in the season. Are we realistically saying, based off the competition everyone's played so far, are we realistically saying that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl? Is that what we're saying right now, people?
First of all, Matt, we might as well mute yourself because you're a Giants fan. So listen,
we almost beat the Cowboys and we fucking blew it in the fourth quarter.
Hold up.
All right.
That's a sad sentence.
Because you know something?
We almost beat them.
You lost to a team that is hurt.
We also lost. We also made a lot of mistakes. Listen, I'm looking at this. Don't cut me off here. I'm looking at this subjectively because I was watching the game. I happened to be watching the game while I was at work, at least for the first half or so. We made a lot of mistakes. Our O-line fucking sucks. So Daniel Jones doesn't have time to throw or do anything. He took a lot of hits. He does suck. Let's be honest. I don't know why the fuck we drafted him. There was I heard, and I read this on the internet after, because when I was driving home, the game was still going on. There was a couple of questionable calls that were made in favor of the Cowboys. Let's be honest. They always are going to fucking favor the Cowboys against us.
Oh, boy.
And on top of that, I mean, if I remember correctly, we were winning at one point, and then the Cowboys either came back and tied it and then scored more. I don't know. I don't know what the sequence of that was because, again, I missed the second half driving home from work. But either way, there were opportunities to score points and win the game, and we blew it. Not every call went our way like it should have been, but it is what it is. A loss is a loss, but at the same time, I don't know whether or not the Eagles have had that kind of hard-fought competition yet.
Because we're better than everybody we've played so far. So
what's going to happen when you start facing when you start having a harder schedule later on?
First off, we don't face.
I think y'all just woke up the Eagles fan over here.
Nah, because now
you put a shirt on. You put a fucking shirt on.
Let me address what Matt is talking about real quick before anybody else jumps in. First off, the Cowboys, you're basically playing second string players. Right?
You're right. You're right. I'm not denying that.
This is why when Giants fans were running their fucking dick suckers about what they're gonna do to the fucking Cowboys. Yes, I'm going there because I loathe the fucking Cowboys, and I strongly dislike Giants fans. And y'all motherfuckers my ears bleed. Listen to y'all come up with excuse after excuse after quarter.
You hear the hate in this man's voice?
Yes, bro. Because for a week, I had to listen to y'all talk all this shit about what y'all were gonna do to the Cowboys, and it's blasphemous, but I was sitting here watching and hoping, just come on, Cowboys, come on.
See that? This man root for the guy. That is blasphemous, Mike. What the fuck? Y'all
suck and you don't want to admit it, and then you talk about
we do suck. I'm not denying it, but we got lucky. I'm not denying that.
Hold on, sir. I'll let you talk, and then y'all sit there and you talk all this shit. Oh, the Eagles haven't played, motherfucker. We blowing people out. Have you been watching us play? We sacked Carson Wentz 9 fucking times, bro. Like, don't sit here. Our defense is fucking A1. Don't sit here and tell me, now are we going to win the Super Bowl? Talk to me again in 3 more weeks, and I'll give you a better assessment. But
I'll give you till week 7. I'll give you till week 7.
Is making the throws, right? And that's coming from me. I doubted him coming into the season. I doubted him.
Listen, if anybody, I'm happy that Jalen Hurts is doing good because in
the next game we're gonna go to the game, Matt. You and me.
Listen. All I'm going to say is this. Let me say this, because I'm happy Jalen Hurts is doing good, because all I've been hearing about, at least from the Philly fans that I know, including you, and I guess Hunter in some way, shape, or form is a Philly Eagles fan, despite being a Steelers fan too. How Jalen Hurts isn't the guy and all this stuff, and here he is shutting all y'all up. I'm happy for the guy. I don't like the fact that he's on the Eagles, but I'm happy that he's fucking playing well.
I wasn't convinced because I needed to see him make the throws. I knew that he was an athlete. I know that he could get it done with his legs, but I wasn't sold, right? But Jalen Hurts is doing his fucking thing. Let's be real about this shit. To say that the Eagles aren't contenders for the Super Bowl, you have to be a fucking hater. You have to be. It doesn't, bro.
Mike, it's week
Detroit-
4. There is no fucking
Detroit-
contender yet.
You talking about no contender, bro? You know what? We need to shut this shit down because y'all gonna make me mad, bro. Y'all are not.
It's week 4.
It is week 4.
Talk to me in like week 7, week 8,
People are not-
halfway through the season.
no,
I don't give a shit when it's not even week 4 yet.
Bro, you about to go fucking. You about to lose the next fucking 3 games, bro. I don't know. You don't even talk. You do.
What are you getting so mad about?
Bro, because I can't stand these people. Like, bro,
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying is that you can't make.
What we not gonna do is
these
put
things.
blasphemy when we sacking people. Well, bro, we getting averaging like 4 sacks a game, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations.
We look fucking delicious out there. All right.
Whoa.
That's
What does that mean?
Oh, fuck. Hold on. What did he say?
Yeah, they know. Hold on. Yeah, give it to me. Y'all not gonna, which is not what y'all gonna do. Y'all not gonna do that because we look sexy out there, bro. We look fucking. Oh,
All right. Give your spiel about the Eagles. You got like 30 seconds. Don't say no bullshit.
No, trust me. I agree with almost everything he said. The only issue is I had faith in Jalen before the season started, just that he needed the right pieces around him. And he had a second year into really owning the offense. This is his offense now. He's the one leading it. He has a number 1 wide receiver finally in A.J. Brown, which is the best pickup of the entire offseason by any team, if you ask me. And it's showing so far. Not to mention, they've played no competition. They played the Minnesota fucking Vikings that apparently were supposed to be the winners of the divisions over the Packers.
I'll give you that.
They have Dalvin Cook,
The Vikings.
Justin Jefferson, the number 1, the top wide receivers in the league had 1 catch for 7 yards. 1 catch. You know what that means? That means he's fucking getting locked.
and
by a
not for
great
nothing.
defense.
Not for nothing, right? People are shitting on Detroit because they keep losing. Detroit is a good fucking football team, bro. They just have, I think they have poor coaching over there, right? Because
Yes.
Detroit put up 35 points, and after that, we fucking all right. Let's correct that shit, right? Detroit is a good fucking football team. Maybe Washington, I'll give you that but we dominated them. That's why people think they're bums because we dominated.
Nobody likes the Commanders. That's the thing.
No, like, we don't-
I'm just gonna say before we end. See, it's conversations like these why I'm glad I'm a Tom Brady fan. I don't have to get in the middle of kind of stuff like this.
I mean,
I
how's
Super
Tom
Bowl,
Brady doing?
You know,
Yeah, how is Tom Brady doing, Dante?
Tom Brady's fine. Okay, he's dealing with
Are
some
we sure?
marital issues. He's dealing with some marital issues. That's none of our business.
Yeah,
okay?
his
Our business.
wife. He having a rough week.
All right.
I don't care about off the field. I don't want to even discuss off the field shit because I'm tired of people talking about it.
So
It matters
rude.
though,
So rude.
It does matter.
because it affects the gameplay.
You know what? Brett Favre matters. That's who matters, bro.
Oh, that motherfucker right there.
Brett
Wait,
Favre,
you know what?
oh,
Before I know we going crazy right now, but all this shit's really important. And you know what, motherfuckers still gonna listen to our shit because we hype like that. But listen, somebody has said the other day they posted this shit about Aaron Judge hitting his 61st home run. Obviously, listen, it's a great feat.
Oh,
But-
God, here we go.
They're like, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Someone should know that, but too, they were talking about Ime Udoka, and we all know about Ime. First of all, Ime, you cheated on Neil Long.
Yeah, he bugging.
You were living every nigga's dream.
He
Jail.
bugging.
Yeah, jail immediately. But
Yeah.
they were saying that there was so much media attention over Ime and his situation, which really no one should have any business talking about because it's a personal matter. Should have been
Facts.
handled.
Can we brush me up on this because I don't know anything
Listen,
about
this is basically what it is, real quick. Ime is the head coach of the Boston Celtics, or was.
Oh,
the head
that.
coach of the Celtics,
Okay.
You know, I'm talking about that whole thing.
I forgot his
And
name.
he did all that. Obviously, there's more information coming out and blase. Honestly, I don't think it's any of our business. I think the Celtics decided to scapegoat Ime and they handled the situation the wrong way. Should have been handled internally, but that's besides the point. But they're talking all this shit, how, there's all this media attention about that. But no one's talking about Brett Favre and his stealing ass and how he should really be in prison for what
Well,
he
he
did.
might end up
Yo.
because there's a lot of new
Yo.
facts today that I saw where he actually was discussing with the former governor, and they were talking about getting the money that was for welfare. It was welfare money, basically, essentially. And the former governor informed him that if he were to receive this money, that could possibly be illegal. So this is now why that all this information is coming out, and there's a possibility that he may get indicted for something. But
Yo, all I gotta say about that is this: for all the shit y'all talking about niggas in the hood getting PPP loans,
Mhm.
I don't want to hear shit if this is the type of shit Brett Favre doing. This motherfucker's actually out here committing crimes, like straight up espionage felonies and shit. Like, yo, he's stealing like whole.
Y'all's getting
It's
crazy.
wild.
Stealing a couple $1,000. Niggas stole over $5 million.
He was stealing bands.
Yeah.
He was stealing NFL contracts.
Ah, man. All right, man. Hit us with these end credits, dog. Let's get it
Hey,
going.
man. Well, how about this? First of all, Delvin, a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, brother.
As always. How is our episode doing, by the way? Because you put that episode out a couple weeks ago now. How's that holding up?
Oh, it's doing great. It's doing really good.
Really good feedback on that, I hope.
People love
Hopefully,
it. People love it.
That's good.
Nobody's threatened me yet, so we're in good shape.
Nobody's threatened you. Well, why don't you tell the people, or before I get into my spiel, about where they can find your show?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Delvin_Cox. Check out the Delvin Cox Experience anywhere you get podcasts. And I'll say this now. It's not out yet. It's going to be out maybe in a couple months. I will be in an audio drama playing Green Lantern John Stewart called Justice League Mortal.
Nice.
So be on the lookout for that. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. That sounds good, my man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Also, subscribe to the man's Patreon. He puts out some quality shit on there. I would know. I'm a member.
Yes, thank you. Definitely.
Of course. And of course, when it comes to
about his OnlyFans, Matt.
Listen, man, Delvin's my boy and all, but I ain't paying to see that.
Yeah. I'll have my homeboy got an OnlyFans, and I'm like, you cool? I'm not paying for that, homie.
The question is, which one of our boys is going to buy it? Man. What'd you say, Dante?
I said, I ain't paying to see my man's dick. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, we ain't paying to see that. Wow. I wonder which one of our boys in the group chats, in the podcasting group chats, would pay for it, though. That'd be fucking funny.
Yeah, come on. All right, man. Hit it.
Anyway, guys, you can check out the Bromigos podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it, we're on it. Twitter, Bromigos Pod, Instagram, Bromigos Podcast, or the Bromigos Podcast. Same thing on the TikTok. We're blowing up on TikTok, even though sometimes they hate us. What else? You can also check us out every Sunday on Full Swap Radio. And all the links for those are located in our link trees on every single one of our social media platforms. That's it for me, Jim.
All right, ladies.
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, got another Thursday outside of the studio of Bromigos Podcast. We're so glad you could join us. We're going to catch y'all next time. Peace.
Shalom.
You've been listening to the Bromigos Podcast.
Fuck you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Avita! That's okay! She'll be back. Another query.